Hello everybody, welcome to another video. And today I wrote down about 20 some crazy things that have happened to me. Maybe traumatic, maybe just like a funny story. So this is my board right here, and I wrote down the tiers here. I have the S tier, the A tier, the B tier, and the C tier. So S is gonna kind of stand for like the most traumatic. That's like maybe I hope you got help for that, you know? And then it'll go down to like, oh, that's just like a silly story. So let's get started. I have them all over here. The first one that I pulled says, I cried when I got in trouble for slapping a boy who tried to kiss me. It was very true. It was very true. It was in like kindergarten or something, and we were out in the playground, and there was a boy that my family knew very well. They knew their son, and he ran. He was running at me, a little girl, trying to get smooches, and it's like, no. And that's the one time that I really stood up for myself, and I slapped him. I slapped him. And then I got in trouble for it, and now I don't, now I have a really hard time saying no. So I think this is C. I feel like little me was really traumatized. I'll do B. Perfect. Okay, next one. This one says, risked getting kidnapped in another country for bottled water. This one's very true. All of these are true, and I will give an explanation to all of these. I was on a school trip in France, and it was late at night, and we were all put in groups. So I was in a group of girls, and we were all cool. And one of my bunk mates was really thirsty, and there wasn't any water in the room. And I think we were told, I think in France you can't really drink the sink water. Maybe, I don't know, I'm pulling that out from thin air right now. So I went with her to go downstairs to like the vending machine to see if there's water in there, and there was, but it, like the French currency, like we were not familiar with it, so she had some French currency. She tried to use it, but the machine wouldn't take it. We didn't really know why. We found out later why, and it was kind of stupid. So we were like, where are we gonna go? Like, we're so thirsty. And we didn't want to wake anyone up. I don't know why. It was super late at night. But our thought process was, there's a McDonald's right there. Like, let's just go walk. Let's just go walk there and buy a bottled water. And we weren't allowed to do that, obviously. We're in high school, and we were told to not leave ever. And so we were like, maybe we should bring a boy with us to like keep us safe and protected. So we were gonna ask a certain boy, but then we're like, I think he's bunking with someone who would snitch on us. So let's not ask. Let's not have any protection. None whatsoever. No, literal nothing. We had towels on our head. We had towels on our heads from taking a shower, and we were just walking out of the gates of the hotel. And we walked to the McDonald's, and they did not speak a lick of English, so we were really trying to like translate. We were trying to pronounce the word for water, and eventually we got there. And she, the cashier, she looked so confused when my friend pulled out her money, and then we looked super confused because she just kept pulling out change. Like, that's a lot of change. Like, I thought you gave her like a small amount. Like, we thought this French currency that my friend had was like a small amount, like enough for water. Turns out it was like a large, like $100 bill type of situation. And there was French teenagers in the McDonald's laughing at us. So we left, we got our water. It was Evian water. So I will always remember that every time I ever see an Evian water bottle. And as we're walking back to the hotel room, a French man stops us, and he's asking us for cigarettes. And we were like, no, I'm sorry, we speak English, but sorry, no cigarettes. So, you know, it was okay, we survived. And turns out the guy that we thought would snitch wasn't even bunking with the guy that we were gonna ask to follow us. So, you know, we could have had protection, but we didn't like think that hard. But we got our water. So I think that was a successful story, and I wasn't scared, so I'm putting this at a C. That was fun, risking a kidnapping in France Next one. This one. Dad almost crashing into a sign on the road because he fell asleep at the wheel. I was scared. I was scared. It was late at night and he was picking me up from something and he fell asleep. He was nodding off and the music was playing super loud, but we were in the neighborhood at least, and there was a sign on the road that was like yield or something. And he fell asleep and was veering straight into the sign. And guess what I did? Little old me, I'm like in middle school or something. I said nothing. I didn't flinch. I didn't do anything. I accepted my fate. But he woke up right before, and then, you know, why didn't you wake me up? I don't know, I shouldn't have to, Dad. I really shouldn't have to. So I hated that. I'm gonna put that at an A. Like it kind of affected me, but not like this is the worst. Okay, next one. This one says, chatting to pedos online as a kid, and I drew the omegle on a computer. People my age, I'm 23, I was born in 2001. I was on Omegle all the time with like my step siblings and just friends. And I've chatted to a few pedos in my life when I was a child. I'm gonna say B. Like, not really. Okay, because I have a lot of trauma. I did not need to write this much. That's okay. The next one says, Dad blasted rap music that had cop sirens in the background while I was driving for the first time. I was actually at a football game, a high school football game at a different school, and he was sent to come pick me up. If no one knows this, I lived with my grandparents my whole life, and so they sent my dad to come pick me up, and he lived with us, but my grandparents had custody of me. So they sent my dad to come pick me up late at night, and I thought he was gonna drive me home, but he made me drive because I was just learning to drive. And he decided to blast rap music, which, like, that's his genre. I don't care, that's cool. But it had a lot of cop sirens in the back of it, and it scared me so bad. I was like, I kept looking at the rearview mirror like every time because I was so, like, when you're learning to drive, I'm so scared of the law. Like, am I speeding? And we got to my neighborhood as I was driving us home, and he actually told me to speed. My father told me to go faster, so thanks, Dad. This is blah. Yeah, this is blah. Next one. Survey says, TSA pat down in front of my principal. Yikes, my run-ins with the law. This was actually on a DC trip I took in high school, and I put my wallet in my suitcase, and, you know, I don't have my suitcase when I have to go through that person that's asking for my ID and my identification. And I was like, it's in my suitcase, I'm sorry. So I had to get pat down. And I had to get pat down. And my principal, and if no one knows this makes it funnier. I went to a private Christian school. And my principal saw me getting pat down by the TSA, which I think is so funny. I could just see him. He was standing with his arms crossed just watching me, and like other students were watching me. That's so funny. That's a funny story, so I'm gonna put that at C. Next one, we're choosing from the top. This one says, when I was stranded on a movie date with a weeb. I was stranded on a movie date. It was that situation where we were in a friend group and we were planning to go see the movies. Everyone bailed. The last girl bailed when I got there. And I wasn't driving at the time, so my grandma dropped me off, so I couldn't leave, I couldn't go home. And this guy was there who's a big anime fan, like that's cool, whatever, I like anime. But he was weird, he was a little off-putting, and he really liked me, like it was very apparent that he liked me. And so it was just us, and guess who else was there? His mother was there. And it was like near my birthday, and they brought me a present. She had us go outside and take a picture together. god. Oh, it's so bad. And so I had to see the movie with him. And then he gave me his jacket, and it was a Lilo and Stitch jacket. And I threw that in the trash later on. So I was stuck on a movie date. Horrible, hated that. I'm gonna say no trauma, but just I hated that. So I'm gonna put that in B. All right, next one. Losing all of my seven childhood pets. Look at my dog. Anyway, this one's so mega sad. So I'm putting this up here because that seriously affected me. Very sad. Like I said, I lived with my grandparents. So my mom, when she did have custody of me, she would give me pets all the time. I'm sure other people can relate to this. She would give me a puppy, a kitten. I've had ferrets, and within a week or two, she'd just tell me that they're gone, or she gave them away, or they ran away. And they were little things, and I don't know what happened to them, and that's really like gut-wrenching. I can't stand that. Horrible. So pets literally hold like the biggest thing in my heart these days, so that really affected me. So let's move on. This next one says, when my mom, speaking of my mother, when my mom lost custody of me. Very traumatic. Yeah, very traumatic. Putting that all the way up in S tier. She actually lost custody of me in when I was in 2nd grade going on to 3rd grade, and it was very traumatic. Like, I can remember the whole morning of the last time I saw her very vividly, because she was trying to drive me when she was inebriated, or she was a drug addict, so she was not good. Had me call my grandparents, you know, I called them, they knew it was up, and called the police and whatnot, and ugh, I live with that. Yep, that really, like, 2nd grade, like, that does something to a kid. Like, I remember, for full honesty, I was crying every single night when I was very little over my mother. Like, that affects a little child so much. Ugh, we hate parents like that. Okay, this one says, another one about my mom. How am I getting them all in a row? Mom let her boyfriend watch me sleep as a child. I didn't find this out through my mom. I found this out through my grandma, because she was in a feud with my mother, obviously, and my mother bragged or whatever about letting her Navy boyfriend watch me when I was sleeping. And like I said, I was in 1st and 2nd grade, so, you know, not safe situation whatsoever. S tier. Okay. I'm having fun talking about my trauma. Is that weird? This one says, when my dad brought a random friend to our daddy-daughter vacation. I'm gonna put this in A tier. Actually, that really affected me, but not as much as these. Almost in S tier, actually. I was gonna go, I'm native, so there was a powwow somewhere, and I was like middle school, junior high, and he took me there, but he actually stopped and picked up one of his own buddies. You know, I don't know this person. My grandparents don't really know this person. I didn't know we were picking up someone. My dad didn't say anything. We just went to his house and picked him up on the way. And then we stopped at a fast food restaurant, and I actually called my grandparents and I ratted him out. So my dad says, and my grandparents called him, obviously, and my dad got mad at me like a sibling. My dad got mad at me like a sibling would get mad at their sibling for tattling on them. So we were already so far out that I had to spend a hotel night with this random man and my father, and there was only 2 beds in the same hotel room. So my dad planned on like having me sleep with him, but I am older and I did not want to sleep with him. So you know what I did? I stayed on the floor the whole night playing Pokemon Go. I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep at all. So, L father. Next one. This one says, a family member's. This one was like, even I like don't even want to say who the family member was, but I know who it was. I'm blushing at this. Ew. When a family member's phone connected to my speakers in my room, and I woke up listening to. Can you see that? I don't even want to say that. Horrible. I'm gonna say here. Like, that's weird when you catch a family member watching that. So it was a family member. I actually woke up hearing a group of people talk about truth or dare, but like sexy truth or dare. I woke up to that playing on my speaker and moaning and, and it was like, oh, let me just shut my speakers off. Oh my god, that's so weird. Let's move on. It says, when a coworker told me a customer wanted to me. I had an ex-coworker. He no longer works with us. To either, well, can I spill that? I'm not gonna dive too much into that actually. But I had an ex-coworker who was a weird person with all of the other female coworkers. And you know, I actually work with animals, so I was talking to a client and they were picking up their pet, and when I came back to get the pet ready to go give it to the owner, this coworker I guess saw the interaction, or actually he went to go check out that owner, and he came back and he didn't just tell me verbally. You know what he did? He wants to fuck. He got up in my ear and like, he did a lot of weird things. So I'm gonna put that at an A. Like, I hated that. It caused me like a lot of freaking stress during that time. Bloop. This one, when I rejected a classmate in France. This one's cute. I'm gonna put this at the bottom because it's cute. Cringy but cute. I kind of noticed a classmate was getting really friendly with me. We had a class where we were like especially kind of more being able to like talk to each other and stuff, because not a lot of people were taking that class. And we went to France. It was the UK trip at my school and he was on it. And one of my best guy friends at the time told me he knew a little something something, so I eventually got that out of him. He told me that this person was gonna ask me out in France because I told everyone that I was so excited for France, and I just can't wait to see it. And actually, I was so disappointed in France. Like, I wouldn't go there again. I would just stay in the UK. So I've had to have some awkward text conversations overnight about how I am not interested. interested. Oh, when the school bully took me to prom. It was, like, he was a bully. Like, he was, like, the funny bully, I guess. Yeah, as much as a bully as you can be at a private Christian school. He took me to his prom. I had more fun with the other person he brought, his friend, than with this person. Like, he made it weird. He got pink eye eventually throughout the night. He was trying to dance with me. He stole my shoes and he was just touching me a lot. That's the gist of how that happened. That was like really annoying. I'll say B actually. Next one. This one says, when a classmate grabbed my neck as a flirting tactic. This one's funny, like, C tier. He was an awesome dude. Like, he was like my best guy friend, but he was, you know, homeschooled before and very Christian. So in my head, I'm thinking that maybe he just gets too excited around a girl that he really likes, which was me at the time. And I don't know why he would do that. I guess he was just like, oh my god, this feels too right. And she's laughing. And mind you, I've mentioned this so many times, I'm really like horrible at saying no. So I just like played along with it until he'd stop. Don't do that, guys, don't do that. When the UK bus driver had a stroke next to me. Oh, and I drew a bus. This was horrible, I didn't like that. A tier. We were in France at the time and it was my school trip at the UK, and we were sitting in a French restaurant and I was sitting next to the bus driver and like all of my teachers at a table. And I ordered a dish with escargot and I was so excited to try it, and then I never got to try it because the bus driver next to me turned pale and threw up and I think had a stroke, and we all had to leave the restaurant. And oh, it was so sad. We were all stressed for him. He was a lovely, lovely man. I loved him. My school loved him. He was the same bus driver for their school, or for my school's UK trip every year. He was okay. He was okay. He was totally fine. Actually, he was fine. They had us leave the restaurant to go walk around, and then we got to come back once he was taken care of and we finished our dinner. Crazy, but that's fun. That was fun. You know, not for the guy, but the whole trip as a whole, I mean. Next one. Old men stalking me as a cashier, and I drew a tablet because I have a story. It was my first job. I was a cashier, and I was a pretty young lady. Like, I just graduated. I'm very nice. I went to a private school, so I'm very nice. I didn't know the world. I didn't know the dangers. And there would be old men all the time coming through my line and giving me their Instagram. Anyway, and then there was, you know, the old men giving me their address, and there was an old guy that would like slip me his home address discreetly, and I would rip it and put it in the garbage when he left. There was a construction happening at the grocery store I was working at the time, and there was a construction worker that saw me working at a register, and purposefully, I could tell, got like a Sprite or something simple to come through my line, chat with me, and you know, I was very open. At the time, you know, this isn't good. I liked the attention, and I would feed into it because I liked it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Be selective. That could put you into danger, like I was. So he pulled out his tablet because his phone was broken or something, and he had me put my Snapchat on his tablet as I'm like at my register. And he found me in the parking lot. That's weird. Don't do that. He drove up next to me with another construction coworker in the truck next to him, and tried to holler at me. And I never. Sorry, that's Daphne. Daphne, you scare yourself. Anyway, just like old man trying to holler at me as a young cashier. I hated that. Not that fun. Next one. This one says, getting bullied in 3rd grade. Well, I was bullied in 3rd grade. It was another girl. She would specifically sit next to me in class and punch me in my groin and stomach during class. You know what happened? Nothing happened. Nothing happened to her. We just didn't sit next to each other. So, you know, A+ for that school handling bullying. Oh, and fun. Oh, I just got reminded in 3rd, maybe 4th. No, I think it was 3rd. Yeah, 3rd grade. I was invited by a couple of the bad girls to like go try a cigarette that one of them brought to school. And do you know what I said? I said, yeah, sure, yeah. Well, they didn't come find me when they did it apparently, but they got caught and suspended for 1 day, and that was it. And one of the girls came back the next day and she's like, what are you guys looking at? I'm like, girl, you smoked a cigarette. Of course we're gonna look at you when you come back. 3rd graders, oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's just a fun, it's not even that fun, but You know what? I'm gonna say here, it kind of like, I do remember it really affecting me. When I, like at the time, it really did affect me. I had a hard time telling my grandma about it, actually. So let's give it some respect and put it at the B tier. Last one. This one's cute. Ah, this one's so cute. This happened so recently. When Babs died on My Big Fat Fabulous Life. No! I love her. I love her. I love her. I love her. So I love TLC, and eventually I was watching My Big Fat Fabulous Life, and I got to the episodes where Babs died. I cried, and then I just stopped watching it because the show was not the same without Babs, so that really affected me. B tier. I love her so much, and it was so sad to like, you were actually like, you watched her decline. And she was a beautiful person in the show. She was so funny. So, there's my trauma, guys. Here's my trauma board. Okay, there's a lot of B tier. So that's not bad. That's not bad. This is kind of what we're looking at now. So thank you. That's kind of everything I wanted to do. I thought this would be like super fun. I had a lot of fun talking about this and like kind of just reminiscing about these times in my life. I hope you guys had fun listening into all of this. Maybe you felt like you could relate on some things, maybe not. Maybe it was just a fun story. I hope you laughed. I hope you had a good time. I had a good time. And that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.